Stacy.
I'm Decker.
And we're in Stitched Up Heart. And we're going to give you some tips on the road.
Yeah, so one of the things that's really important is to make sure that your vehicle rig is maintained regularly, because we see a lot of bands break down on the road or have just issues where there's preventative things you can do, from basic stuff like everybody knows you need oil changes and you have to make sure that your tires and brakes are good. But a lot of bands travel with trailers, and we're having some issues now where we tried to do some preventative maintenance by getting new bearings put on the axles, and the mechanic we took it to actually didn't do the work that we paid him for, and we took it into another guy who redid the work, and then he didn't put a seal in right. So you have to keep an eye on everything and make sure that you're taking care of all the engine and transmission things that you need to do, like transmission flushes and spark plugs, and check your serpentine belt, check your fluid levels all the time, and your tire pressures, and make sure that the brakes are checked. So this is very important because you have to make it to your gig, and also you have to make it there alive.
As a vocalist, I'm going to go over some vocal tips that I do. I do vocal warm-ups before every show, before every acoustic act. If we have an acoustic act at 6 in the morning at a radio station, I'm doing my vocal warm-ups like an hour before then. So that I'm warmed up, and then I do it about an hour or two before I go on stage. I do a lot of water, honey. I've been taking daily vitamins, and you also need a lot of sleep on the road, even though it's really hard to do. So I actually started taking melatonin to make me sleep in the van, because it's really difficult for me to not wake up thinking we're going to die. So I would recommend that, and teas, and stay away from carbonated beverages and energy drinks, not like what I'm drinking right now, as much as possible. And healthy food if you can. That's what I would recommend, and I should recommend this to myself as well, as the bass players behind us making fun of me because I don't always eat healthy. But yeah, just really take care of your voice. Try not to talk when you start feeling fatigued. Try to stay away from, I usually will not really go out too much before we perform, and really work on keeping my voice quiet as much as possible. And but I will go out after the show and talk to people, but not super loud over all the music, and not, because you've got to last a lot longer, especially if you're going to be on the road for the whole year like we are.
Another tip that I would say is a tip for being a support band to a headliner act is it's very important to be respectful of them, because this is their show and it's their tour, and so you want to be prompt on time, because to be late is to be great inconvenience to everybody. So make sure you're punctual, make sure you're respectful of talk to them about any rules that they might have, and always make sure that you're trying to get your stuff unloaded and set up as quickly and quietly as possible. Make sure all your instruments are tuned, that your set is honed to the set time that they have you down for. So if you have 30 minutes, we usually try and go 25 to give them a little bit of extra time, just so that helps out with everybody, because sometimes things go wrong with set changes, and you want to be as quick and just on that stage and kill it, and just get right off and go load right in, and then just be really nice to everybody around. So I think that's very important that a lot of bands don't know.
Hygiene. Please take showers. There's not too many opportunities sometimes when you're on the road. If a venue has a shower, utilize that. If there's a laundry room, utilize that, just because the more dirt you bring, the more you're going to get other people that you're in close corners, and those other bands are all traveling together. If one person gets sick, then it pretty much just goes right through everybody. So just stay clean. Try to, baby wipes, I would say. Bring baby wipes. Baby powder actually helps with not getting too sweaty and disgusting.
Change your socks.
Change your socks. What I actually do is I buy I bought 15 pairs of underwear before I started the tour, and I basically just throw them out or give them to a radio station. And I also bought a ton of socks, because I'm if I don't get to laundry, I'm just going to throw them away. I know it's a waste of clothes, but if you don't have laundry, you don't want everybody smelling your feet. So
Feet accumulate.
yeah, it gets really gross. So, and clean your area of your van. Like if you have like leftover garlic or something that you just happen to have still in the van, I do. You should throw it away. I'm gonna go clean in a little bit. Communicating with each other is probably the best thing to do too. I mean, you're on the road, even though you're like all together, sometimes it gets kind of lonely and you get in your head about stuff like long drives and you're thinking too much, or somebody is irritable one day and they don't really express their feelings. We usually get together as a band and have like a band meeting and see how everybody's feeling and see if there's anything that's really irritating them or not. Like our first band meeting of the tour was, oh, everything's great. Yeah, this is awesome. And the second meeting was like, everything's great. Just work on this and this. And the third meeting, okay, I hate you all. But, you know, ultimately communicate with each other over your feelings, what's bugging you, because otherwise it'll start to internalize. And you want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on with you so that you don't just implode.